This is Dr. Sherry. You guys, I am back. I am back. I am back. I am back. So listen, before we get started, I'm so excited to get started again. Let me go ahead and do my intro, and I'll be right back. I hope I remember how to do this. All right, let's get started. Listen, I'm going to jump right into this because for those that know, I have been through a lot, like we all have, okay? And when I was in that space of really not knowing who I was and what I needed to do to just kind of jumpstart my life, I was introduced to understanding who I am as a person through my birth chart. I didn't know anything about a birth chart. I didn't even know a birth chart existed. So I took this person up on it to kind of understand who am I as a person? Can anybody answer that? Who are you? Like for real, do you know who you are? And if you don't know who you are, if you have no idea of who you are, if you don't know what your life purpose is, if you don't know why you are here, then the first thing you need to do is to get your birth chart. And one thing that I did for my daughters is as a gift, I actually got their birth chart the day that they were born. And I got it how the sky looked, the placements of the stars and what the day looked like, or that night, considering what time they were born. And I got it in a picture frame and I had it mailed to them. And I gave it to him for Christmas. Oh, you know what? No, I remember it was in a scroll, and I had to get the scroll mailed to me, and I got it framed, and I gave it to him as a Christmas present. And so that kind of gave them a snapshot of what that day was like the day that they were born. And I'm saying to you, you don't understand how unlocking that key of who you are really is in the day you were born, really in understanding what it looked like the day you were born. There's secrets embedded in that. All right. And so with myself, when I started first receiving my birth chart, looking at it, and it's like, what the heck? I didn't understand any of it. Okay. But once it was broken down to me, it really began to resonate with my spirit. It really began to resonate of who I am. And it really began to unlock some secrets that I didn't know about myself, right? And so, have you ever wondered why you have some personality traits, right? Have you ever wondered why you connect with some people and some people don't connect with you? Have you ever wondered why? Have you ever wondered why some foods you like, some foods you don't like? Have you ever wondered why some jobs you excel in and some jobs you just don't like? Okay. All of that is embedded in your birth chart. And so let me look down at my notes so I can kind of give you how I have this mapped out, because that's exactly what it is. Your birth chart is like a personalized map. It's a personalized map of your life purpose. And now I was speaking with someone yesterday and I just asked her very plainly, I was like, do you know your life purpose? Do you know who you are? See, it took me a while to understand who I am. So now when I articulate to people who I am Dr. Sherry. I am a multi entrepreneur, and I can teach you about real estate, about business, and about credit, and about life. But it took me a minute to be able to articulate that. It wasn't until I truly understood who I was to be able to articulate that. So now let me help you. Let me help you kind of understand where you are and how to even begin to find out who you are through your birth chart. So first of all, your birth chart is divided into 12 sections. All right. So when you get your birth chart, it's going to be a circle. Okay. And it's going to be divided into 12 sections. And each one of these sections represents a part of your life. And when I talk about a part of your life, I'm talking about relationships. I'm talking about your career. I'm talking about a section even for personal growth, right? And showing you how to grow. And so in this circle, okay, in these areas that are broken down that represent a part of your life, okay, there are also planets that are embedded in the chart, okay? And they call these different section houses. All right, they're called houses, okay? And each one of these houses is influenced by a planet or the planets in that house. Okay, so this is kind of like the beginning structure of kind of understanding, because where those planets are, these planets have personality. And many people don't know that. They don't understand that. Have you ever went to a beach and you just looked at the sun, or you saw a sunset and you begin to feel this warm, fuzzy feeling? That's because the personality of what you are experiencing is making you feel good. Is making you be able to identify and connect with that feeling that's coming from that space right there. This is what I'm talking about. Being able to tap in with your strengths and being able to tap in with your weaknesses to understand them. All right. So when we talk about, let's just talk about the sun and where the sun is positioned, your sun sign. Okay. So for those out there that, you really hone in on your astrological sun sign and you really take that to heart, I'm a Taurus. Okay. I love being a Taurus. That's my sun sign. Okay. And I love being a Taurus. I mean, it is oh my gosh, I totally embrace that. Okay. And when I began to understand my birth chart and me understanding who I was as a Taurus, it helped me to embrace. Now, some people will say, well, that's devil worship. Well, that, you tapping in to an area that you shouldn't tap into. You know what? I had to really release those myths. And when I began to read the Bible, there were so many examples of astrology and planets and sun signs in the Bible. It began to blow my mind. It began to blow my mind. And so the thing about it is that understanding this space, understanding what God created, okay? Understanding as above, so below. This is what we're talking about. In order to understand what's happening here in this space, you got to understand what's happening above. I call it the handwriting in the sky. Okay? I call it the handwriting in the sky. And so let's just take the sun. The sun represents your core identity. All right? That's why you embrace your sun sign. That's why you embrace who you are. That's why when it's your season, everybody is rallying around who they are as a person. Okay. And so the sun represents your identity, it represents your ego, it represents your creative expression. Okay. That's why I told you I love being a Taurus. With Taurus, we know how to handle money. Okay, we know how to handle money. Some of us, it depends on if you're a high vibrational Taurus or a low vibrational Taurus. That will determine if you blow your money, because Taurus like very nice things. Okay, so that is an area of my life I had to tame. I had to really tame that area, because yes, I like nice things, but a lot of times in my life, I couldn't afford nice things. Okay. So I had to kind of put a pause on that, because if I had gotten the nice things, knowing my bank account could not afford that nice thing, it would make me go broke. So that's a weakness of being a Taurus, right? So this is what I'm talking about. Understanding that birth chart. It reveals the true essence and what motivates you, right? At the deepest level, at the deepest core of who you are. Okay. And the planets in the chart are also placed in specific houses, as we talked about, that influence these areas. So, for example, I told you the sun is your identity, but a lot of you don't understand that when you were born, the moon was placed in a house, right? The moon was placed in a specific place in your chart. And that moon represents emotions. People don't understand that The moon represents your emotions. It represents your instinct. It represents your inner self. Okay. And so it's important that we understand that what are our emotional needs? That's why sometimes you're in a relationship, right? And a relationship just doesn't work because that person can't fulfill your emotional needs. They can't fulfill it. And your birth chart kind of directs you into that space of what do I need emotionally? Can this person that's in my life, and it's not just romantic relationships, I'm talking about all relationships. You know, even with my daughters, I have to treat my daughters differently, okay? Because they have different emotional needs from me. It's not one, what's that? One thing fits all. What is that little saying? I can't remember, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay. But that little saying that says this thing fits everything else, that's not true. That's not true because everybody is different. Okay. Everybody has different needs. So, what I'm telling you is, I want you to begin to understand who you are and begin to understand who you are as far as what your birth chart says. Okay, this is just an introduction. I'm going to come up. This is just part one, and I'm just going to give you guys a little bit every day of, well, a little bit, not what every day, but a little bit in sections, in parts. Okay, because I'm not going to come on here every day, but a little bit in parts of who you are. Now, if you join my Patreon, I'm going to actually pull your birth chart for you, and I'm going to explain your birth chart to you. Okay. So if you want to join the Patreon, just go to patreon.com/ I am Dr. Sherry, and let me assist you in taking this a step further. But I will tell you this. This is your first step in understanding who you are as a person. This is your first step in understanding, how do I go from point A to point B in my life? How do I understand who I am as a person? Okay. How do I find clarity? How do I find guidance in my life? Okay. So, y'all, this is my first time coming back to YouTube. Listen, would you subscribe for me, please? I'm going to get my count up so I can monetize this account, because I'm telling you, I got a lot to say. And the first thing, I got to figure out where to look. I'm looking down because I'm looking at myself, but I believe I'm supposed to be looking right here. So I'll figure that part out later. But listen, I'm going to end this because I don't want these videos to be too long. So just remember, I'm supposed to be looking right here. Go to my Patreon if you need help and assistance in finding out who you are. If you need help and assistance in finding out your birth chart, how do I get my birth chart? We're going to answer all of those questions. And I also have the link below. But if you still want instructions and you don't feel like joining the Patreon, ain't no worries. Just join my YouTube and get the notifications of when I'm going to come on and I'm going to do the next part of this. Okay. All right, you guys. I love you so much. Until next time. Bye-bye.